Hello everyone, welcome back to another Minecraft Crate tutorial. This episode, I'll be showing you how to make trains, cars, boats using the Minecraft Crate mod. At the end of the video, I'll also show how you can make a sky rail. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the plane that I put together. So all of these contraptions are using the train system in the Crate mod, but in kind of a way that you really wouldn't expect. One of the biggest downsides of using trains for this is you'll see that it will kind of glitch out if you look at the model wrong. And I'll kind of go further into that when I explain how these work and show you guys why that happens and kind of some things you can do to help mitigate it as best you can. Here's my little plane. You see it takes off, flies in a little circle, and comes back. You could use this in your world for player transportation. You could have that little redstone link inside the cockpit of the plane, load it up with players, hit the button, then fly them from point A to point B. Yeah, it works pretty well. It looks a little clunky, but I mean, it still works pretty smooth considering this is a plane in Minecraft. We come over here, I got a little truck. And what I figured you could use this truck for is, in the back here we have a bunch of storage. So what you could use a portable storage interface. If you look at my trains video on trains, you can see how that works, and you can actually load this up with material, send it off into your world. So if I go into this button, you'll see it'll go ahead and start driving. So you can send this off into your world to deliver material from point A to point B. See, the main problem with this is it kind of looks like it drifts around these corners. Really not too much you can do about that. There are some things you could do to kind of help make it look a bit better, which I will go into in a bit. And if we fly on over here, we have a little boat. Go and hit the button on the boat, you can see it takes off. And again, you can either use this for player transport or item transport or really whatever you want to use it for. And you can see it kind of just sails around in a little circle and then heads back over here, and I'll show you guys the little sky rail I put together. You could extend this into like a full-on train system if you wanted to. So you could create like a rail car that goes underneath the rail system. But I just have together a little two-seated rail thing that kind of just goes up and travels along the rails. Then we're going to go into how this is all put together. Now it's all pretty simple, and I will show you guys right here. And here it is. Just went ahead and removed the ground for you so you guys could see better how this all works. I'm going to start over with the truck, and the truck and the boat work pretty much the exact same way, so I didn't bother removing the water for you guys. I can kind of show you how this works. So basically, you got two part assemblers with a minecart in them. And we just have it stopped right now, and then when we hit the button, it'll kind of send it off, do one trip, and then as it's just a button and not a switch, these will stay unpowered, so when it hits back at this spot, it'll stop and it'll place the blocks back down, so you can actually go in the back and get all your stuff out of here if you wanted to. So I'm going to hit the button and we can see this go around. There it goes. Now, I think the big issue with why this looks like it's drifting so much is where the minecarts are placed on the car. If you want this to look as smooth as possible, you need to look at a truck or car, whatever you're placing, and find out how it actually turns. So what you need to do is you need to figure out if a car is turning, where is its center of turn. So right now what I have it is like right in the middle is basically the point where it's going to turn around. If you look at this right here, it's going to turn around like this point right here, right about here. But realistically, it might be a little more towards the front, where like the wheels that are actually turning. So to make this a bit smoother, what I might recommend is taking this minecart and moving it a bit further this way. Now, how this actually works, if I go ahead and grab super glue, you can see that all these blocks are just super glued together. You could do this with chassis. It would create less lag in your world because each super glue is an entity. So if you wanted to, you could just do this all with chassis and then have it all connected that way. And then the way this actually stays together is in the center here. On top of the cart assembler, I have some glass panes. Because I'm using Optifine, if you put a row of glass panes, they actually turn completely invisible. So I'm going to take the super glue off. On, you can actually see like where that row is. You can see all the blocks glued together, making our little truck. Now, one thing I will note is you can see that our glass panes kind of create this little cross pattern when there's blocks nearby it. So if you want to mitigate that, what you can do is you can put slabs instead of full blocks around it. If I were to do slabs here, you can see it completely gets rid of like that cross pattern. Or just go around and slap it up, and it just looks completely invisible. So next I'm going to show you guys how the plane works. So plane is pretty much the same system with the 2 minecarts. Got a button up here to trigger it. And the one big difference is the track actually goes up and down. So if you were to build this in your Minecraft world, the one thing that would take the most time is clearing out the path. You don't have to dig out a big hole like this. All you'd really have to do is dig where the minecarts are going. You can see as the minecarts are going up the path, the whole plane kind of moves at the same time. Now it's a little clunky like that. That's just kind of how the whole rail system works and the minecarts work, but honestly, it's pretty smooth, especially from pretty far away. You can't really tell that it's super clunky. And here's showing you that you can actually go up and around a curve at the exact same time. The curves are pretty smooth. I think they're a bit smoother than going up and going down. Now, there was that glitch you can see right here where it sometimes won't render, and that's if you're not looking at the minecarts. So if you look at my screen down at the bottom, you can see the minecarts. If I stop looking at those, it actually stops rendering the plane. So if you're in the plane, it kind of won't render. If you're looking over to the side, just looking up at the plane, it won't render. You kind of got to look at a space where you will actually see those minecarts. Mitigate that, you'd probably want to put your minecarts as close to the surface as you can. So for example, if I come over here, I've got maybe a 5-10 block air gap in between where the rails are and where the ground is. If I were to just kind of raise this whole system up a bit, it'd be more likely to actually be seeing the minecarts, and it would look a bit better, and the whole plane would render. Now, I'm pretty sure that this is a glitch, and it will be patched in the future, so watch out for that. I'll pin a comment if it ever does get addressed and does get fixed. Works a bit better. So the last thing I'm going to show you guys is this little sky rail I put together. So this is using the same kind of system. You got the minecart, blocks super glued together, and then we actually have some seats in here so you can actually sit inside of it. I go ahead and press this button. Let's see, the whole thing just kind of goes. It looks pretty nice. Now what you could do is you could really extend the system. So right now it's just using a single minecart, and so you can see that it all stays vertical. If you want something like this, it looks vertical, it has one kind of pivot point, this is how you do it. If you want to make like a ski lift or something like that. If I wanted to make this like a full-on rail car that had the rail above it, what I would do is I would do the whole kind of train system like this, where everything is connected to 2 minecart assemblers. Then I would build like the rail and then have whatever cart below it. Yeah, this works pretty nicely. You can see there actually is like a little bit of a block inside the cart, so it looks kind of nice. And then the way I'm holding up these rails is with some barrier blocks. So next we're going to talk about the boat for a little bit. The boat is pretty much the same thing as the car, so I won't be showing you guys the track. One thing I will mention is I did slow this down quite a bit, because by default, at the default rail speed, it goes quite quick. So I'm just going to go to spectator quick and show you guys what we got going on down here. So to slow this down, what I did is I got these analog levers at power 5. So it's going a little under half speed, and I think it looks a lot more realistic and a lot better. Now what I really want to talk about with a boat is waterlogged blocks. One of the really important things to keep in mind if you're building a boat with the Create mod is if a block is waterlogged, what'll happen is it'll kind of duplicate itself. So if I were to, for instance, take these stairs, put them here where the slabs were, or where the full blocks were, Then when I go ahead and I hit the button to send it off, you'll see they will actually travel with the boat. However, they will also stay behind in your world. So that's just something to note, pay attention to, that beneath your boat, unless you have this area where you're not going to really see it or notice it, just make sure that it's all full blocks. So that's all I really have for today. If you're interested in downloading the map, I'll have a download link in the description. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more content, you know what to do. Bye-bye.